Mic test, audio, camera, lighting. What's up everyone? Welcome back to another episode of Fit for Moto in the Gym. Wish I could see your smiling faces, but nonetheless, today we're gonna be talking about power movements. We're gonna be talking about more specifically your upper body and building some upper body power. Now, lower body can be in another video so that this one isn't obnoxiously long. To do this, we're gonna be relying on plyometric training, which is mostly just body weight training, so you're really not gonna need a bunch of equipment to get this done today. Maybe a weighted ball, a barbell, or something that you can do some form of rows on, which I'll demo here in a little bit. Plyometric movements are broken down into two phases, eccentric and the concentric phases, or the stretching and then the contraction of the muscle. To perform these in a plyometric movement, it's going to be that stretching followed by an immediate, quick, powerful contraction of that muscle. Now you might be asking, how are these plyometrics, how are these movements going to help me at all on the bike? Well, as you can imagine, when you're riding a bike, you're doing some corners, you're doing jumps, maybe you're coming into some hard braking bumps, something like that. You're going to need some short, quick reaction or quick force movements to help make corrections on the bike. As you can imagine, the faster you're going on the bike, the quicker and the more powerful those movements are going to have to be in action to correct your positioning on the bike so that you can maintain your momentum. So of note, the period between when you have the eccentric and the concentric phases of these plyometric movements, or the stretching and then the contraction of the muscle, is actually going to be called the amortization phase of that. And you want to keep that as low as possible, that period of time as small as possible, because that's actually going to develop more force in your movements. So, wasting no time, let's move right along. We're going to start with a simple push-up, but not the way that you remember it. Alright, so as far as the push-ups go, these are pretty straightforward. It's going to be kind of what you're familiar with if you've ever done a push-up before. You're going to start in that normal push-up position. You're going to have your elbows locked out. You're going to have your hands about shoulder width apart. And on the eccentric phase, or phase one of the movement, you're going to slowly lower down till your chest is just off the floor. And then you're going to power up and try and get a bit of a gap between your hands and your floor. So palms are flat on the floor. Elbows are about as straight as you're going to get them. And you're just going to lower down into the movement and then power out of it. And the plyometric push-ups are really that simple. Like I say, slowly or slower, lower down to the ground till you're just about off the floor, and then just power to the top of the movement, getting that bit of a gap between your hands and the floor. Now, as far as the ball toss goes, these are pretty straightforward as well. I have a 10-pound ball here. You might find that to be a little bit heavy, but 8 to 10-pound ball. And again, you can do it from a standing position, you can do it from a kneeling position, you can do it from a seated position, whatever is going to be more comfortable for you. But let's take, for example, if you're actually going to do it from a kneeling position, and again, we're working on that eccentric, concentric phases of the movement. So eccentric is you're going to be stretched out, concentric is you're going to release in a quick, powerful movement. If you have someone there that's to return the ball for you, that's great. If you have a wall that you can bounce it off of and bring it back to you, that's gonna work just fine as well. So again, you're gonna start with that eccentric where you start loading, and the concentric where you actually use the contraction and build that power in getting the ball released. I usually work out by myself, so I don't actually have someone to throw the ball back to me. So. Well, that got weird for a minute. Now, moving right along, looking at our posterior side, which is going to be our back side, we can do just a simple form of lateral rows. Now, importantly for these, you want to keep your back and your knees in that straight line as you power through the movement. So you're going to start with that eccentric phase, which is going to be slowly lowering yourself on that bar, and then the concentric phase, or the actual contraction of the muscle, that quick power movement to the top. The great thing about these is that you can actually scale them. So instead of being in that straight, rigid position the whole time, you can actually bend your knees and make these a little bit easier if you find the initial ones a little bit difficult. Either way, the same thing is going to apply. You want to have that smooth eccentric phase to the bottom where you're stretched out, and then you're going to have that power movement to the top where you have that contraction. And there you have it. 3 awesome movements to build your upper body power using plyometrics. Really straightforward. Like I mentioned, you don't need much. However, I do think you're going to find that these help quite a bit on the bike when you're forced to produce those short, quick movements that require a lot of power. I hope you liked the video, and I truly hope it helped you in some way, shape, or form. If so, like, comment, and smash that subscribe button for me. I really appreciate it. Leave your progress below. Let me know how these things are working out for you. Let me know if you're finding that they help you out on the bike. I hope they do, as well as any videos you might want to see in the future. Maybe there's an area of your training you're not really comfortable with and you'd like some info there. Leave a comment below, let me know, and I'll do my best to get the video out for you. As for me, well, I'm going to get started on my own workout, and I'll see you guys in the next video.